Praise Jesus. Welcome once again to my YouTube channel. This is home. Here is where we are. We grow together, we hold each other's hands, we walk through the muddy situations together, and maybe you're feeling alone, you're feeling down, you feel like no one cares, then I'm telling you that I care so much, so much. So welcome on board. Let's continue subscribing, let's continue sharing so that this message reaches many people who are in need, many people who are heartbroken, many people who are in need of encountering a great thing from God. So today, I really want to ask you a very simple question, and even as I'm asking you this question, you are able to just comment down there and tell me if you're part of it. Are you behind any wall? Are you hiding behind any wall? It could be a wall of rejection, it could be a wall of fear, it could be a wall of suffering, a wall of loneliness. Which wall are you hiding behind? Most of us are actually hiding behind specific walls. Most of us maybe have grown in situations that never gave us an opportunity to express ourselves, in situations where no one ever looked at us and appreciated us, in situations where no one ever thought that we could be anything better. We've been married and people do not even value us. Maybe, I'm not so sure, or maybe the wife you expected to be there for you does not do the same, and then you find yourself hiding behind that situation because you are afraid and ashamed of sharing it out there. Even as you're hiding, even as you're pretending to be okay before people, today God wants you to walk out of that situation. God wants you to get out of that wall that has really kept you away from people, that wall that has blocked you from enjoying the greatness that God has purposed for your life. There is this wall that has shielded you from knowing God as your Father. There is this shield that has really blocked you from knowing that people love you because you feel like everyone takes you for granted. Which wall are you hiding behind it? Are you hiding behind a wall of frustrations that every time you've tried to do something, it doesn't work, and you realize that you have been in the same point for so long? Are you struggling in your marriage because now you are a pastor, you are known in church, you cannot speak out the pain you are going through because you do not want to embarrass your friend or your spouse? Are you hiding behind that wall? Today, Jesus wants to walk through to you. He wants to break the barriers. He wants to break the limits. He wants to get to your very own heart, that heart that has been pierced, that heart that has suffered so much rejection, that heart that has suffered so much frustration. Others have even tried in life. Maybe you have tried so many times to get unemployment and you have failed, and because you want to be in class, you want to be in society, you realize that you're just walking with others, you're laughing with them, but then when you go home, you are crying yourself to sleep. You are crying yourself to sleep because you feel like a failure. Many have even taken their lives because they have felt like failures, because they have failed like no one ever listens to them. Today, my dear friend, today, my dear brother and sister, I am here to encourage you. I am here to just tell you, you know what? Even in the darkest of your time, and in the darkest of that moment, the Lord our God is still there for you. His hand is not too short that it can fail to reach you. Remember when the disciples had buried Jesus and most of them were gathered. They actually gathered in a house. They locked all the doors and windows. Why were they doing this? Because they were afraid. The only person they knew as master, the only person they knew as teacher, him who had called them, him who had walked with them, him who had preached to them, him who they had witnessed him perform miracles upon miracles. He had fed them, They had actually witnessed the same person, the same Rabbi, the same Messiah being crucified on the cross, and they actually witnessed him being buried. And after burial, they covered his grave to make sure that it was a done deal. When they left the tomb, they were all afraid. They didn't know what is awaiting them. They didn't know where to go from there. And I'm imagining in the midst of this, there are those who kept asking questions. Did we really make the right decision? Was it really God's purpose for me to be here? Was it right that I left my family for this man who has been killed? Many were actually asking the same questions. But in the midst of that fear, in the midst of that dispensation, in the midst of that situation where they never knew what step to take again, Jesus appeared in their midst from nowhere. Jesus appeared. The same Jesus is appearing in your life. The same Jesus is coming through your situation. Jesus does not need you to open the door for him, even though he tells us in Revelation that, behold, I'm standing at the door. Whoever listens and hears my voice and opens, I shall come to him. But remember, Jesus has the power to get to your situation. That most painful point where no one ever understands, Jesus understands. And even as he comes into the picture, he is beyond every reputable known thing. He is beyond every border, every boundary, every barrier. He is going to get through. Even in that situation where you've been hiding to yourself because maybe you were frustrated, others were molested when they were growing up, maybe you've been raped and no one has ever heard this story, Jesus is coming through to you. Jesus is just going through that situation. Why? Because he wants you to get out from behind the scenes. Jesus, the Son of the living God, is walking into a situation. Just open up your heart to him. Just open up your soul. Just open up your mind to this King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. A guy who did not know boundaries. A God who is not a respecter of how big or how small you are. This is a God who is just coming into your situation and bringing joy where you've been suffering. Bringing out the peace that you've been missing out, where you've been rejected, where everyone looked at you as a worst. Jesus is just coming and crowning you. You know why? Because he has the power to break the walls. He has the authority to demolish anything that blocks your way. And that's why God says that, behold, I am going before you. Why is God going before us? Because he knows there are barriers that need to be broken. These are the barriers that you have to welcome Jesus into. Tell Jesus, you know what, my dear? These are my barriers. I have lived behind this. I have lived in this frustration. Every time I have been rejected by people who wanted to marry me. I've gotten into a relationship 1 to 2 months or even years. Then someone just walks out on me and you're hiding behind it. Every time you ask, your life, God's time is the best. But deep down you are suffering. Today God wants to break that wall. God wants to set you free, my brother, my sister. God wants to bring you out from behind the scenes and put you in a position where people will look at you and everyone will want to be associated with you. Do you know why? Because he is commanding favor to flow afresh in your life. The same God, he is levelizing grounds for you. Those who looked at you and felt like we will see how deep and how low Selena will fall, how deep and how low you will fall, they will sit back. Look at how majestically you're going to walk into your greatness. Do you know why? Because God is holding your hand and just telling you, you know what? Get from behind the scenes. Get from behind the scenes. You've been there for so long. You have cried for so long. You've been frustrated for so long. Yes, you are hiding behind the fact that you do not have the right papers for you to get a job. This is a moment to tell God, you know what? This is who I am. And I know you are able to bless me beyond my education. I know you are able to bless me beyond my family background. I know you are able to bring me out of this shame that has eaten me for so long. And God is ever willing to tell you, you know what, my dear, I have been waiting for this. I have waited for so long for you to call out on me because I want you to live in the light. I want you to be seen. I want to put you in a place where everyone will look at you and want to be associated with you. So, my dear, even as you're continuing to watch and subscribing and sharing, are you ready for Jesus to just walk through that boundary, to just walk through that border, to break every limit that has been before you? Are you ready to welcome this mighty warrior into your life and just tell him, you know what, sweetheart, here I am, God. Just do in me as you wish, because God wants you to live not in the shadows, but in the light. Jesus wants you not to live behind, but to live in front. God does not want you to proclaim him from behind there, behind hidden doors where no one hears. He wants you to stand on the hills and declare him as him who changes, because he is going to change your life. Be blessed and God bless you.